Jabba the Hutt once sat upon that throne. You all accrued wealth and riches under Jabba. You can again. With this man, Boba Fett.
What prevents us all from killing you?
Why speak of conflict when cooperation can make us all rich? I am not a bounty hunter. I'm the crime lord now.
Who is this who enters unannounced?
You know damn well. My name is Boba Fett.
Left for dead on the sands of Tatooine.
I intend to rule with respect.
In difficult times, fear is a sure bet.
Welcome back, everyone. This will be my new Star Wars Book of Boba Fett trailer video. Episode 1 is going to be dropping next week. I'll be doing videos for all the episodes, so be sure to subscribe to get them all. There's going to be 7 episodes total and a ton of crossovers and cameo scenes. In fact, Robert Rodriguez, who basically directed most of these episodes, said that all the trailer footage is only from the first episode because it gets too spoilery after the first episode. He's like, there's too many secrets, too many crossovers, cameo scenes that we didn't want to reveal. I think he's mostly talking about Mando, Grogu crossing over, maybe Ahsoka also crossing over too. Most of the really big Mandalorian series characters will cross over in some way. So I'll address that during the video because I know everybody's wondering, like, what is Grogu and Luke Skywalker doing right now? Because there's been a small time jump since the end of The Mandalorian Season 2, but it hasn't been that long. And they are in the middle of filming The Mandalorian Season 3 right now. That won't be released till around the end of next year. So we're going to get the Obi-Wan Kenobi episodes, we'll get the Star Wars Rogue One prequel series, the Andor episodes, before we get Mandalorian Season 3. But just starting at the beginning of the footage here, the new trailer calls out Jabba's throne specifically. They referenced it verbally in the last trailer with one of the other local crime lords on Tatooine sees Boba Fett, saying that he heard he now sits on the throne of his former employer. And you may have detected a very familiar voice when the Ithorian crime lord is sitting there recognizing Boba Fett like he walks into his throne room. He says, "Who is this that's walking in here?" It is the voice of Robert Rodriguez, the person who directed all these episodes. This is what his voice actually sounds like.
Who is this who enters unannounced?
I was 9 years old when the first Star Wars came out. Saw it again and again, and in all its re-releases. And I was already a huge Boba Fett fan before Empire Strikes Back even came out.
They show footage of him returning to Jabba's palace before the events of The Mandalorian Season 2. Maybe, if this is not before The Mandalorian Season 2 Episode 1, when we saw him come back for the first time at the end of the episode in that stinger, then it would have to be like literally right after that scene because he's wearing the exact same Tusken Raider outfit and he hasn't taken his armor back from Mando. And what is happening here is that he's coming back to Jabba's palace to take his ship, the Slave One, back and then go after Mando to get his armor. So there will be flashbacks during the series to show you how he escaped from the Sarlacc and what happened to him immediately after. Like, that's why he's in this Bacta tank being healed here, because it's probably right after he escapes from the Sarlacc. I talked a little bit about the timeline of that during my last big Boba Fett trailer video, so I'll link that in the description below. There's a big connection between the Sarlacc that he escaped from Return of the Jedi and what was happening with the Krayt Dragon during The Mandalorian Season 2 Episode 1. They have a much longer version of the suit-up montage. Always love a suit-up montage, which reminds me of putting action figures together as a child. If it wasn't clear from The Mandalorian Season 2, this is the same armor from Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back. It's just that he's repainted it and polished it. That's why it looks so different. But you did notice that he did not repair the dent in his helmet from the unfinished Clone Wars episodes. If you haven't seen the clip, Dave Filoni actually wrote the canon story for how he got the dent in his helmet because originally it was just a fabrication error when they were making the movies. Like when they first introduced the character, there was not supposed to be a dent in his helmet. But like a lot of small Star Wars details like this, Dave Filoni used the Clone Wars episodes to write a backstory for the dent. And now the canon story is that he got the dent after a gunslinger standoff with Cad Bane. I know everyone's hoping for a Cad Bane cameo scene during the Book of Boba Fett. He's still alive in present day, so it is possible for him to come back. But during these unfinished Clone Wars episodes, Cad Bane is fighting the younger Boba Fett and shoots his helmet right off of his head, and the point of impact from his blaster fire is what created the dent. I cannot wait for Dave Filoni to write a canonical backstory for Jeans Guy from The Mandalorian Season 2, Evil Sith Lord waiting in the shadows, Revenge of the Jeans. They would make so much money if they turned Jeans Guy into an actual action figure. A fan actually created a legit-looking action figure for Jeans Guy. This is amazing. And if it wasn't clear, the scene of him doing his suit-up montage is also inside Jabba's palace, but that's from later in the timeline during the present day of the show, after the Mandalorian Season 2 post-credit scene where he killed Bib Fortuna. You also notice the major difference here too is that he's not wearing his helmet in a lot of the scenes because one, even though he's technically a Mandalorian genetically, they kind of explained that with his chain code from Jango Fett and how Jango Fett used to be a Mandalorian but then kind of left their society. He's not part of the crazy cult of Mandalorians that Din Djarin was raised by, who vowed to never take their helmets off. Because, two, that was what the major part of Bo-Katan Kryze's episodes were about when they first introduced her in the series, her explaining to Mando who and what real Mandalorians actually were. Like, no dude, we take our helmets off all the time. You were just part of this crazy sect that broke off of the Death Watch Mandalorians. I'm hoping they bring back some Easter eggs for them too, because the Death Watch was also a group during the Clone Wars era that Bo-Katan was part of briefly, but she eventually left with her Night Owls group. Those are the other Mandalorians that you see with her with similar armor. Like, these are some of the Night Owls, but not all of them. They're just like a crazy hardcore elite group that she formed before she joined the Death Watch. That does kind of make you wonder if technically Mando has become one of the Night Owls, maybe unofficially, because he still has the Darksaber, and Bo-Katan isn't going to let that out of her sight until she figures out how to get it from him without having to kill him for it. Because the whole idea is that he who wields the Darksaber has the right to rule the Mandalorians. Like a claim to the Beskar throne, to make a Game of Thrones reference, the Iron Throne, the Beskar throne. And that's what she really wants. Like, she doesn't really care about the Darksaber. The Darksaber is just a symbol of a right to rule. My theory right now is that she'll just use him as a figurehead to rally more support for her cause. Like, there are other Mandalorians who survived the Purge out there and hiding in the Outer Rim, including the Armorer from The Mandalorian Season 1. Once they all learn that Mando has the Darksaber and they've taken down Moff Gideon, way more of them will start crawling out of the woodwork. This new character here everybody's wondering about is Sophie Thatcher. You might recognize her from Yellow Jackets recently, but she also starred in a space movie with Pedro Pascal a couple years ago, so she has had her own minor Mando crossover before this. Given the speeder bike she's riding, it seems like she's running from one of the local gangs. I'm assuming that she's just a young scoundrel type character in the making. I don't know if she's playing somebody from the lore or if she's playing a brand new character, but we should find out during episode 1. Like I said, I believe all this footage in the trailers is from the first episode. They have another big Jango Fett Attack of the Clones reference when he says, "I'm not a bounty hunter, I'm the crime lord now." That's just another wink at Jango Fett's simple man speech.
Your clones are very impressive. You must be very proud.
I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the universe.
Like I said in my last video, this Twi'lek is Jennifer Beals, one of probably a few celebrity cameos. Sometimes they don't always announce their celebrity cameos though, like sometimes you don't always recognize them under the makeup, or sometimes they're just voiceover cameos, like Mark Hamill secretly doing the voice of EV-99, the droid in the Mos Eisley Cantina. Mark Hamill has revealed that he does this all the time. Like, if you go back across pretty much all the big Star Wars TV shows, everything they've done, he does a lot of uncredited voiceover cameo scenes. Then I already explained the big Easter egg here too. This scene of him coming in and killing all of these other scoundrels here is an Easter egg for a deleted scene from A New Hope. It's when he comes to Tashi Station in Anchorhead and meets Biggs Darklighter and his other friends early in the movie. This is the exact same room that Boba Fett walks into, killing all these aliens. And it seems like it's pretty soon after he's come out of the Sarlacc. And because we're on Tatooine here, at least in episode 1, it sounds like a lot of the series will take place in and around Tatooine. Of course, there's all kinds of references to A New Hope and Return of the Jedi. Like, there's a C-3PO droid here. There's a land speeder that looks similar to Luke Skywalker's, just flying right past him. There's even some pit droids from Phantom Menace, which we've seen a couple times during the Mandalorian series. They have not said what Mando is going to be doing when he shows up on the series, but my assumption is that he's in the middle of helping Bo-Katan steal more weapons and ships back from the Empire, and they're getting ready to bump into Grand Admiral Thrawn by the time they get to the Ahsoka episodes, which will take place after The Mandalorian Season 3. So Mando still has the Darksaber. Grogu, as far as we know, is still with Luke Skywalker doing his Jedi training. Luke Skywalker has not created his Jedi Academy yet, though, at this point in the timeline. During this point in history, right after Return of the Jedi, he was just traveling all over the galaxy looking for more Force-sensitive people to train, like Grogu. Like, that's how he found Grogu, because he was specifically looking for Force-sensitive people. So that's why it's easier to still have a Grogu crossover, because they're still traveling all over the galaxy while he's training him in the Jedi arts. But if you spotted any other big Easter eggs in this trailer footage that I didn't talk about in the video, or if you have other questions about what's going on with Luke Skywalker, Grogu, or The Mandalorian, just write them in the comments below. My full Book of Boba Fett Episode 1 video will post next Wednesday after they release it. There'll be 7 episodes total, so we have a whole bunch of really cool stuff coming up. Everyone click here for my brand new Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness trailer video, and click here for my Spider-Man No Way Home post-credits scene. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and happy holidays!